Hi everyone and happy International Women's Day. My name's Danny, I'm a store manager in Region 1 in the South, based in the lovely Bath. I wanted to take this opportunity, this International Women's Day, to talk to you a little bit about a book that I absolutely adore. This book is aimed specifically at women or feminine traits, and it genuinely changed my career. It helped me to understand a little bit about who I was, why I behave certain ways at certain times, and how I can minimise that impact on myself and others around me, while also playing to my strengths, because the best thing about being a woman is being a woman. So right at the beginning of this book is a little blurb just about the book, and this is what hooked me immediately. So it's just a few sentences, and all it says is, do you hesitate putting forward ideas? Are you reluctant to claim credit for your achievements? And do you find it difficult to get the support you need from your boss or the recognition you deserve from your colleagues? And if you answer yes to any of these, then How Women Rise will help you get back on track. Now, all three of those statements really struck a chord with me, and I definitely went out and purchased the book immediately. Now, there's 12 habits in this book that may be holding us back as females, or those of us who potentially show some more feminine traits rather than the quite aggressive masculine traits that are described in one of the author's other books, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. I just want to touch on 3 of these habits. So these 3 particularly resonate with me. Now, the second habit that the book explores is expecting others to spontaneously notice and reward your contributions. I absolutely work myself into the ground, hoping somebody at some point is going to say, well done, Danny, you did a great job there. Nobody's going to do that. It's up to me to shout about what I've done. And this is one thing that I've changed massively, particularly in the last 6 months after reconnecting with this book from after a little while. I've started to speak up and say, look at me and look at what I've done. And as a female, that's something that we inherently aren't very good at doing. Now, this book describes this and talks it through and gives you some tips to help yourself get noticed along the men who are typically better at shouting about themselves. And I mean that in the loveliest way possible. It is a typical masculine trait. Now, the 4th habit that the book talks around is building rather than leveraging relationships. Females typically are better at building relationships in the workplace. We tend to be warm, caring, and personable, and we don't struggle to build those relationships. What we do tend to struggle with is leveraging them. When we need them and when they benefit us, we struggle to do that. However, we'll have amazing networks full of amazing people. Now, this is something that, again, really struck a chord with me really, really deeply. I've had forging relationships on my PGP for as long as I can remember, and I'm not bad at building relationships. I know I'm not. It's actually one of my greatest strengths. What I am really bad at is leveraging them and using them to get where I want to be. And this is something that I need to change. Now, the last habit I just want to touch on is the 10th habit, and it's just called too much. Have you ever been told at any time in your life that you are too much? Because I get told it all the time. There's 3 different parts to this. There's too much emotion, too many words, and too much disclosure. And as females, we tend to be seen as more emotional than men. Again, this is a generalisation, and some men exhibit these traits and some women don't. I have worked really hard on managing my emotions over the years, managing how I come across in a room, managing my reaction to situations. And actually, it's not about that. It's about being able to retain the strength of my emotions while not undermining myself at the same time. So this really, really struck with me. Too many words. Women tend to talk more than men. It's a well-known fact. We do tend to say more words. And this again can give us often a bad light in the situation. And too much disclosure. We tend to be quite personal. We tend to share stories about ourselves. Again, going back to that building of relationships, that's a typical female trait. And it's not something that we should ever lose sight of, because being female is a strength, and having those traits are strengths, but they can sometimes be a habit that is blocking us in the workplace when it comes to growth. Now, if any of this has struck a chord with you, if you are interested, I will try and pop the description of the book in the title of the video, and I'll try and do some tech whiz and attach a picture of the front cover, but I hope you've got something from this. Any questions, please feel free to reach out, and enjoy your day.